Have you ever looked at a Nigerian banker and thought, wow, this person has made it in life? The sharp suit, the polished shoes, the corporate swagger, it all looks glamorous. But behind that smile lies a story most people will never understand. This is the story of Tunde, a banker who looked successful on the outside, but was drowning on the inside. Every morning, Tunde dressed sharply. Tie straight, shoes polished, briefcase in hand. To his neighbors, he was the definition of success. They whispered, that one dawn blow. But once he stepped into the office, the reality hit. The week always began the same way, targets and budgets. His boss would drop the figures like a hammer. Gentlemen, this quarter we need 500 million Nigerian nairas deposits. I don't care how you get it, just make it happen. The room went silent. Everyone nodded, even though deep inside, nobody knew where that kind of money would come from. The pressure was suffocating. And when those impossible targets weren't met, humiliation followed. Staff were called out in front of their colleagues. Insults were thrown casually. Respect was optional. Tunde remembered one performance review where his PowerPoint slides froze. His boss sneered and said, if you can't even run a simple presentation, how do you want to manage clients? The laughter from the room stung more than the words. Outside the boardroom, there were customers. Some shouted about unexplained charges. Others threatened to pull out millions if their requests weren't granted. Do you know who I am? One customer yelled across the banking hall. If my transaction doesn't go through today, you people will regret it. Tunde apologized over and over for problems he didn't cause. But the most frightening part wasn't the humiliation. It was the risk of the job itself. Bankers knew stories of colleagues suddenly arrested by EFCC or police, sometimes for transactions they didn't even approve. One day you're at your desk, the next you're in handcuffs, trying to explain someone else's decision. The job gave prestige, but no security. And then there was the money, or rather, the lack of it. Yes, salaries looked big on paper. But by the time rent, transport, black tax, and family responsibilities were settled, nothing remained. Many bankers borrowed just to keep up appearances. Some quietly took salary loans. They looked rich, but most were broke. One Friday evening, after missing his targets again and being embarrassed in front of the entire branch, Tunde sat alone in his small apartment. He thought of his colleague who had just been arrested that week. He thought of the sleepless nights, the endless humiliation, the constant fear. And in that moment, he realized something. This job was giving him prestige, but stealing his peace. He looked rich, but he was broke. He had a career, but no life. From that day, Tunde made a change. He stopped letting the bank define him. He began saving intentionally, cut down on unnecessary expenses, and started a side hustle with his cousin in agribusiness. He took his health seriously, morning jogs, healthier meals, actual rest on Sundays. He still worked at the bank, but he worked differently. He gave his best but stopped tying his worth to impossible targets and toxic bosses. He focused on building skills that could open doors beyond the bank. Years later, when young bankers asked him, "How did you survive without breaking down?" he would smile and say, "I stopped letting the bank own me. I started owning my life." If you found this story relatable, you're not alone. Many professionals are silently fighting these same battles. Subscribe to this channel for more real, thought-provoking stories that reveal the hidden truths of everyday life. Don't just listen, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Because sometimes, behind the brightest smile lies the deepest struggle.